Well, hi everybody. It's Melissa Webb with WriteOnWeb.com. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about the perfect couple. Yes, reading and writing. I know I probably should have some cute, like little bride and groom kind of picture here, but I think if we really think about it, this isn't a surprising thing to know that reading and writing go so well hand in hand. But I wanted just to kind of go over ways to incorporate the two. So often I talk to homeschool moms that are saying things like, I just don't really know how to initiate some good writing. And I'm here to tell you that if you pair it with reading, it actually is more natural. And a lot of times it will produce just better quality work. And the first thing I really want to emphasize is how important it is to start with talking, regardless of the age of your child, whether you have a little one or middle schooler, anything in between. Talking about what you're learning is a really critical, important skill. So learning some information is going to have to happen before good writing takes place, right? First, we have to learn something. We have to have an opinion. We need to have some information. Then we can express it in written word. And so there's literature kind of reading, right? Great stories. But there's also informational text. That'd be more like your textbook kind of learning. They're both valuable. They're both valuable. But it really is going to depend on the age of your child and what exactly you are working on. Whatever really inspires your child, that is going to be where you want to start. So one of the things that I recommend is that you ask a lot of questions of your child, right? You're used to your child saying, but why? But why? Well, now it's your turn. You get to come back and say, well, why? Why? And start asking these questions of your child just to get them thinking and being able to express themselves verbally first. And don't forget how important it is to model. So as you're going on throughout your day, it's a great thing just to speak out loud and say, I would really like to learn how to make that special cake for grandma. Well, how should I do that? I could go to this cookbook, or maybe I could go look online rather than just going and doing the task. When you have children at home, it's really powerful to talk to them about how it is you think, and then how do you solve your problem or answer your own question. That could even be something relating to the world, like, wow, that moon is so orange tonight. I wonder why. And then make sure that your child is within listening distance. You don't have to make it a real structured lesson, but it's just that kind of conversation that's going to get that little curious bug going. So again, sharing your thinking is really important. Of course, it's great for kids to explore on their own, but learning to think about what they read really is going to grow in an exponential leap when you help them think about what it is they're reading. And there's several ways we can do this. You can practice with prediction. We're looking at pictures or reading a title. You could ask your child, what do you think is going to happen? And just get a conversation going. If you have older children, you can actually just jump right into writing at this point. Hey, here's a piece of paper. I want you just to write down one thing you think may happen, and then we're going to fold it, and I'm going to write down what I think is going to happen, and I'm going to fold it. If there's siblings in the house, they're going to write down what they have. You're going to put it in a secret jar, tighten on that lid. Nobody gets to look at it until after you've read the book. Making it fun, making it almost like a game, but getting them to think about what it is that they're about to read. You're going to encourage them to just get that kind of mindset going. Another really great thing to do is to practice inference. And that's a great out loud practice skill to do. So inference is when you're actually inferring from any information you have around you why things might be the way they have. It's a little different than a prediction, because a prediction is you're trying to tell what's going to happen in the future. But often with inference, you're trying to figure out maybe why something happened. What are some of the clues around you that could tell you the backstory? So I think about this time when we were driving and there was a trash can. It was trash day, and everybody's big trash cans were sitting out on the curb. And one of the green trash cans had been knocked over, and all kinds of things, grass and shrubbery, was all just kind of spilled right onto the road and onto the sidewalk. And we didn't know what happened, but it was a perfect time to do some inferring. What do you think might have happened to have caused that trash can now to have fallen? Now, we never had an answer. A lot of times with inference, you're not going to have a right answer. So often when children are thinking in black and white, that's what they're going for. They're like, well, I don't know. And they're saying that because they really don't know what happened. They're very black and white. However, inference has to get past that and say, well, I know you don't know, and I know I don't know. But let's just imagine what would have been strong enough to have knocked it over. Maybe a dog was running in the neighborhood. Maybe a car hit it, right? So you just start to have these conversations that later are going to really be helpful when they start to write more independently. Also, it's really important when you are reading and doing shared readings that you respond and react to what is happening in the text. So whether it's a story or maybe let's move to an informational text. Let's talk about you're learning about the 13 colonies. Specifically, you're talking about the Southern colonies and indentured servants. And you're asking, wow, what would happen in your mind? How would you feel? What would you do if you were living in this time period? When you respond and react, you're making what it is that you're reading more real to them. And that's really critical. The other thing you want to keep doing is with that questioning line of thinking in mind, beyond just the, well, why do you think that? Have them actually use clues from what they've been reading and really have them think, well, what made you think that way? And have them cite evidence. Well, remember when it said X? That made me think Y. And so when you start to do this, when your students are getting older and they're expected to do this on a more independent level, especially when they're doing like document-based questioning and things like this, they will be so much better prepared because their brain is already thinking this way. Okay, without getting too long and too overly winded, let me just leave you with one other thing that I'd love for you to try. And that is when you get to the point, your child is ready to do some writing, don't just hand them that blank piece of paper or just the white lined piece of paper. It is so intimidating. And so instead, think of some way that you can provide a graphic organizer, which just means there's something on the paper besides just lines. There's something that gives a little direction, something that gives a little hint of what they need to do. Kids just want to be successful. They don't want to just guess all the time and hope that they're right. When they have a graphic organizer, they're empowered because they're like, oh, I get it. I know what she wants me to do. We've been studying these Southern colonies. I've got some lines here. Those colonies are matched. I could write in what the names of those states were, and I could write in some of the facts that I've learned. Got it. Like they already feel like they're going to go in confident and be able to produce something that they're proud of. I have this quick write form on the far right that you see here. It kind of stemmed off of Cornell Notes. But I really like using this with students when I want them to write a summary. So you can see to the far left, they can keep keywords written as they listen or read whatever passage that is. And it could be anything. You could be studying Mars, so they write down some of the keywords from the passage they just read. Then they can create a topic sentence, several supporting sentences. Supporting sentence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 could go over there. A closing, again, just kind of sketching out the idea for an outline. And at the bottom of the page, they could quickly take that outline and construct a paragraph. And it's meant to be quick, meant to be 5-10 minutes. Boom, we just got that done. We did a little bit of writing and it had a little bit of structure. I'm happy to give this to you for free. Just come over to my website and you can find it under student resources. Okay, let's see. So we've talked about all kinds of things today, especially though how important the reading and the learning has to be before you get to the writing. But when they're connected, they go together beautifully. So here's your homeschool challenge, moms. I want you to think, so what's the subject that you're going to teach tomorrow? All right, what are you going to be prepared first to read? You've got to find what reading resources you need to help you. So whether that's maybe a textbook that you're actually going to use, it could be a science book. If you use Discovery Education, I love their tech books. Um, you could obviously be using the internet, or maybe you just went on a field trip and there was some resources that you got from that outing that you could use, but you need something that you're going to be first prepared to read. Giving your children the fuel, which is from the reading, is going to make going into the writing a much smoother transition. But again, don't just hand it to them, say, hey, read this, I'm going to have you write about it. No, 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 no. We want to talk it up. You've got to show some interest. You've got to show curiosity. You've got to show enthusiasm. That means everything. When you get excited, your kids get excited. Remember, think out loud. Talk about how you would do some of these things in your own mind. And then grab a graphic. There are so many free ones available. I've got all kinds of resources. Feel free to take whatever I have. If there's something you'd really like, let me know. I'm more than happy to work with you to try and get something created. And then lastly, you've got to just do it. Go act, do it. All of this in one day. What? Yes, all of this in one day. By the time you're done, you may not have like this polished, beautiful essay written, but what you are going to have is a great outline. With that graphic organizer, you're going to have a great start to a more in-depth writing assignment a little bit later on down the road. So right now you're just collecting stuff. Nobody's going to have any tears. It's just going to be great and fun, and I think you're going to feel really good. All right, I want you to give that a try. I want to hear about it too. I'm kind of all over the place. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram. I have a YouTube channel. I have a TPT store, and I have a Pinterest account too. So come and find me. Oh, did I mention I have a website? Yeah, I have that too. I have whatever you need. And so I would love it if you would come find me and let me help you make your homeschool experience a great one. You can do this. You're already doing a great job. I just want to be one more resource to help you out and let you know you can do this. Have a great day, everybody. Right on.